you're wondering if female leopards will fight for territory. Anya, yes they will. We had two females fighting the other day, Shongile and Tandi. So females will fight for territory because they're fighting for places to have their young ones, for food, for water. So they're going to make sure that they try and keep those areas for themselves. They're not going to want their offspring to have danger from other females, so they will fight with one another. But it tends to be the males that fight more than the females. The females sometimes will just see each other and try and move away, but they will sometimes fight as well. What have you seen, boy? You've seen something. I can't see down into this drainage. It's just far too thick to be able to see anything, and there's really very few places to cross. It's a steep drainage. I know this one very well because we often walk it when we're on our bushwalks, and we can kind of get in here and hide away from elephants a lot of the time. So if he goes down, we're going to have a real struggle to try and keep up with him. But he's definitely aware of something. No, don't go that way. No. Alright. I didn't do it. You're wondering why he's drooling. So as I was saying just now, it could be for two different reasons. The one reason could be that he's drooling because it's very hot and he's been panting excessively, and the panting means that he's getting a lot of moisture developing, and he's then unfortunately starting to kind of drool from the dryness of his tongue as excessive saliva is being produced, or he's seen another animal, and that means that his adrenaline picks up and then he starts to sort of salivate like that. Now Seb, I wonder if we can't get through there. He's just dropped down behind here, so let's just try another way around. Sorry. Poor Rusty's getting a bit of a workout today. Between the honey badger debacle and Tingana, it's going to be a rough day for Rusty. Rusty, you picked a bad day to come back to work. But at least we can get into the riverbed here, which is great news, because I didn't think we would be able to. Come on, come on. There we go. Sorry, Seb, you're right there? Yeah. Can you smell the popcorn, Seb?
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a drag mark here as well. I wonder if there wasn't another kill here at some point. Oh, I don't know if we're going to get through here. Yeah, we're going to have to go around. It looks like another drag mark here. I wonder... This could also be for a porcupine, because porcupines will also feed in these areas, and they do have their quills that sometimes drag behind them. So it could be for them without really looking properly. It's difficult to say. I don't know how we're going to keep up with him in this. Jacqueline, you're wondering why male leopards have dewlaps. Well, it's much like a male lion's mane. In a way, it serves to show females that they are big, dominant males. Also, it will have some sort of protective function. When these guys are fighting, we're going to have to just drop our aerial, so I do apologize if there's a bit of a breakup in signal while we go through here. So we'll go through quickly. So they will do that. Also, that excess skin is going to help with them being able to protect themselves from being bitten by other leopards. Seb, I don't know how we're going to follow this male, but we're going to try. This is not a very friendly section, and Tingana has lost me twice before in this area, so it's not a pleasant place to follow him. Come on, Rusty. Here we go. So you can see we're shooting for the moon by going up in the air like that. Right, let's see if we can try and find where he went, Seb. But it is thick in here. And lots of monkey orange, which is a horrible type of plant. I don't see anything there. He must have gone across here and moved off. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Ah, there he is. So we've managed to find him. Seb's eagle eye Eagle Eye, not Eagle Owl. Eagle Eye has spotted him once again. Is he hunting a Nyala? Is there Nyala just in front? Okay, we'll switch off then because we're making a lot of noise to be if he's hunting. So I'd rather just keep quiet. There's the Nyala. I can see the Nyala in front and I can see where Tingana is. So the Nyala is behind those wattles over there. And Tingana's to your left there. There he is. There he is. So there goes Tingana. He's slowly but surely creeping up on these Nyala. So that's what he spotted. And he's using this undulating terrain to perfect effect. So going down using the bank to be able to stalk up closer. I can see the Nyala up ahead. They have got no idea that Tingana is anywhere near them. And it's going to be super interesting to see if he can get any closer. His ideal strategy would be probably to come down into the riverbed again and use this thicket just to get a little bit closer and then from there launch a surprise attack. But this is a perfect place for a leopard to hunt, and this is why the leopards love moving around in this area, because they can get into these thickets and their spots just are perfect camouflage, so they can creep around. You can just see his spots behind all of that. I think he's just behind there, isn't he, Seb? Somewhere there. But I'm hesitant to move because I don't want the Nyala to bolt off because of the noise that we're making. The Nyala are somewhere in that area at the moment, so if I see them moving a little bit, we will try and reposition slightly. Planes and trains, you're wondering if leopards will eat more in colder weather. I suppose they would, because their body is probably using a lot more energy to heat up, but then again, staying cool also uses energy. So you'll find that they will hunt if an opportunity presents itself. So sometimes in summer they go through a rut of killing a lot, and sometimes it's in winter that they get a lot of meals. You must remember that also in summer is the lambing season for most of our antelope, so they take advantage of that and they will stuff themselves on all of these small babies that are inexperienced and are not able to outrun them. So they do eat a lot in the summer months as well, and like I say, the heat will mean that they'll also utilize quite a bit of energy. I'm just going to try and see. The Nyala have drifted slightly from where we are. I can't see him anymore, Seb. Is he still there? Can you still see him? Oh, there he is. Mr. P, you're wondering what the biggest prey item Tingana could potentially bring down. Well, the biggest item that I've seen him bring down was about a year-old giraffe. In fact, maybe just over a year-old. It was a massive giraffe that he brought down, so which was really quite something. But he's also brought down adult wildebeest. He's brought down baby buffalo. He was once even seen feeding off a fully grown buffalo. Now, that was last year when there was the drought and the buffalo was very weak, but he was seen with the buffalo alive the night before, and the buffalo was a bit doddery, and the next morning he was found there with the buffalo feeding off it. So whether he actually killed the buffalo or the buffalo died of natural causes and he then just stayed around and scavenged is anyone's guess. But I have seen him bring down a 1-year-old giraffe, which is a massive meal. So he can still bring down very large animals. You see how he's slinking and using the thickets and the cover. So you see him just slinking across. Now, I don't know how we're going to get back towards him again, Seb. Let's see if we can go through here. The Nyala's gone further down the drainage, so let's see. Oh, we're so lucky. We've got a nice little crossing point right here. It's almost perfectly designed for us to get over. Come on, Rusty, keep quiet. You don't need to go to gym today. You got a perfect core workout by this undulating terrain. It gives a good ab workout, that's for sure. Just like Taylor. So Taylor's working the biceps, I'm doing the abs. We got a complete safari workout. There he is on top, you see, and there's the Nyala down here. So he's on top over there, slinking through, and he's coming around using this thicket, and hopefully he's going to come down towards where this Nyala is on my right hand side. So the Nyala is just in here. Now, sorry Seb, I know the angle is terrible. I'm going to try to get us up, but that Nyala is looking, it's watching in that direction. So I'm trying to just stay quiet and give Tingana and the Nyala the best possible chance for either one to pick up their respective targets, so to speak. But that Nyala is absolutely oblivious. Look how it's trying to smell. big deep breaths that it's taking in. Where's Tingana gone? The last time I saw him, he was creeping just on the top side of these nyala. He wasn't very far at all. But the nyala knows something's up. You can see the way she was taking in those deep breaths. Look at how she's watching. She can hear every now and then there's movement. So I'm sure she knows something's up. The male is completely unperturbed. The male's behind that bush. You might just see his horns moving every now and then. He doesn't seem to be too worried about what's going on. But I'm sure Tingana's in that thicket just to their left. I believe all of you are rooting for Tingana and not the nyala. Well, yes, I suppose Tingana does need a meal, and we do have lots of nyala, so it would be good for him. But it's always sad when you see them hunting these animals, and can you imagine the fear that this animal must be going through? It knows there's something afoot. It knows something's around. You can see it's trying to see, trying to sniff. It's trying to listen. So it's really difficult for these nyala. Can you a situation where you know something's here, but you can't see it? It must be a horrific way to kind of live life. But Catherine, you say the nyala knows something's up? Definitely. Look at that nose. Look how it's opening and taking deep, deep breaths. And ears are listening. Now the nyala is walking the right way to get away from where Tingana is. If Tingana had stayed where he was, which is right where we are now, this nyala would have been walking straight towards him. But it could be that Tingana's worked out that the wind and the angle of the sun is not ideal for him to have hunted from here, because the wind feels like it's coming over my shoulder. In fact, actually, it's blowing towards me. So he really should have just stayed where he was and shown a bit of patience. Can you see him, Seb?
No, but I see the male, I think. Is it the
No,
male?
male nyala is here. It's just on my right. Let me just go over this ridge, because I've unfortunately got Seb in a very bad place at the moment. Chastity, you saying you've never seen Tingana hunt. Normally he strolls by and disappears in 2 minutes, and that's the end of it. I know, Chastity, he's a bit of a difficult leopard to concentrate on and to try and find and to spend time with, but it's really exciting when you see big male leopards hunt like this. It's an incredible display, and if he manages to grab one of these nyala, you'll see that to pull down a nyala of that size takes tremendous effort and a serious amount of strength. So it's going to be quite something if he does get anywhere near those nyala and he does go after them. But the last time we saw him is just to the left of that nyala. So there's a very tall tree, that tall tree there that you can see, and he was underneath that tall tree. So he's not far from where those nyala are, but the nyala are starting to now drift a little bit more away from where Tingana was. But let's see, maybe he's managed to get himself around a bush somewhere and we just can't see him at this stage. But he has got all the elements perfectly aligned for him. It's thick, it's dense, the sun is at a low oblique angle, so he can use that to his advantage. Down here in the riverbed there's not too much of a breeze to speak of, so he might use that all to his advantage. But look how beautiful that male nyala is. White markings, the beard. I don't know if maybe Tingana's moved further down, Seb, I'm not sure. I don't see any sign of him. And I can hear other vehicles further down. I wonder if they don't have him and he's gone past these nyala. I might have to just quickly ask for an update from Tax. Razor, you say, this is your favorite antelope, sadly. Well, Razor, don't worry. These antelope are still very much in the game. You can see they're aware, they're looking, and they're actually heading the opposite direction to where we last saw Tingana. So they, if anything, are putting distance between them and their predator. So they're doing the right thing. Go ahead, Tax. So I just need to quickly talk on the radio because Tax asking me. Okay, so Tingana's long gone already. He's going towards our dead white-tailed mongoose, which is quite interesting. Okay, copy. I'm coming there now. I don't know if you'll be able to get a cruiser there though, Tax. Now it's interesting because Tingana is going straight towards our dead white-tailed mongoose. I think you're going to have to drop the aerial, Seb, and then duck for cover. You good? Okay, watch your head. Is having a far better time than what we are now.
Hello everyone again. Please stop me saying that, everybody. I'm so tired of saying hello everyone. We're just looking for the cheetah in amongst this rocky patch. They have wandered in here and kind of lost enthusiasm. You've got them there. No, you've got the meese. The cheetah are... I can't see the hyena with me naked eyes. A bushel. Keep going to the left. Okay, wait, hang on. Stop on those two sticks. I will be able to... Oh, no, we're long way too far to the right. Let's go left, quite a long way. And stop. And zoom. Yes. And right a bit. And in there. You've got them now. Right a bit. There you are. There we go. James, you're wondering if a two cheetah coalition will have a different approach to hunting from a five male coalition. Absolutely they will. These chaps still will not take anything much bigger than a Thompson's gazelle. And just note that the wobbling of the picture is due to the fact that we're sitting in a fairly gusty gale at the moment. And you know, Thompson's gazelle, impala, maybe very, very small wildebeest could be within the sort of range of these cheetah, but anything larger than that, no. Whereas we've seen those 5 males take out fully grown wildebeest bulls from time to time, so really they will hunt completely differently. Okay, we have a bit of a stalk here. I'm just going to move the car, sorry Dave, threw you under the bus a little bit there. I'm just a little bit concerned that we are not seeing something that they have. And they're not going to chase straight out of there. I mean, I can't see anything that they would be about to chase, but they gave a little chase while you were away and we were changing cameras onto the low light camera, and I couldn't see what on earth they were going for there either. They're coming out of this rocky section now. You see them there, Dov? Just that cream-coloured car is about to catch up with them now. No, they're not stalking just yet. The other one quite a long way behind, and all the punters are now rushing for the gate. Ha ha ha. Okay, we're going to be all alone with our cheetah very shortly. Very exciting indeed. Now we just need something for them to hunt, don't we? Right, we are going to follow them until so any longer, and the only thing that's going to stop us is a very large storm, of which there are 2 I can see from here. Anyway, there we go, they're coming towards us. I think they look pretty hungry. I don't think they ate yesterday, and even if they did, they could easily try and eat again. But I am constantly scanning around to see if there's anything that they might try and catch. There's a Tommy way in the distance, a Tommy ram, and a meese approaching, the ever hopeful scavenging meese, hyena, I mean. And they lie down when he comes up, you see, as if to say, we aren't hunting, go away. That hyena's been lying in the mud all day. Disgusting fellow. No, I didn't do it. You're wondering if the cheetah, one of these cheetahs is the famous one that climbs on top of the cars. No, that's Malika, I believe. And she's living with her 2 cubs down further south of where we are now. We haven't had that experience at Safari Live. It's not an experience that I think I want to have, simply because I don't think it should be encouraged. But she is famous for doing it. There are a few cheetah around the place, of course, that do it from time to time. But Malika is the very famous one of the Mara. And we have spent a little bit of time with her, but not as much as we have with these 2 and, of course, with the 5 brothers. Sorry, I went silent there. I heard some people yelling. I'm not sure what they were yelling about or where they are. We might move a little bit closer now, I think, because they are not actually on the hunt. So, Darv, shall we skedaddle a little bit closer? Now, this driving shot that you get now will never include me, because the lens is too long, and so it will just be a little bit wobblesome while we drive. But the real advantage of the camera that we're using now is that as the light fades, it really works very well indeed. Okay, we're going to head back across to Taylor McCurdy and find out if her lions are going to get up and do anything useful anytime soon.
James, lions doing things useful? Really? Well, at the moment, these 2 young boys have cuddled up with one another. Look how sweet that is. Isn't that precious? Literally, that young boy on the right with a collar has just gotten up and to join his brother. And they seem very relaxed, very quiet. They've actually left the lioness on her own. This is what's making me think it's an interesting sighting that's going on over here. She's doing all the hard work. She keeps being quite flirtatious towards the boys, and the boys are taking turns to mate with her. Something that we don't get to see often, something that you'll probably only see with inexperienced lions such as those young fellas. I would put their age, just looking at their manes and the size of their body, probably around maybe 3.5, 4 years old. I'll say somewhere around there. I don't think too much more than that. They're not particularly massive. Scar would absolutely dwarf them, and I'm sure the rest of the musketeers too. But now we just need to figure out who they are. So before you just came to me, I was actually trying to figure out again and having a look at a few other possibilities. But I will do some research. I want to do some research on this Muguro Pride and figure out what's happening. But I do see, as I'm looking here, there are some lions obviously in the Mara that are collared, and like I said, I'm sure I'll be able to find a website that has said that they're constantly following the movements. And I can't imagine that there are too many collared lions out here, because this is the first ones that I've seen. I have heard James and I've heard Scott and Brent and Jamie talking about some collared lions, not in too much detail though. I didn't really remember exactly who they had, but we just have to take it from here. I've marked the spot on my map, but it's quite exciting nonetheless. Now, I don't know how good of a hunting prospect these lions are going to be, because there's not really much game around other than a couple of buffalo, but even they're pretty far away from where we are. It's quite barren around here at the moment. A few Thompson's gazelle here and there, but that would really just be a snack for the 3 of them. But it's quite cool. I think it's quite interesting, the dynamics that we're seeing here. Also, I must tell you, we did see some other lions. They were at one of the river crossings, but they were flat and on the other side of the river in the tall grass. So that's no good for us, unfortunately. And then, just out of interest, I watched an African sacred ibis scavenge on a wildebeest carcass for the first time. That was amazing. Now, Gwen, you're wondering, why would this female be mating with such young males? Well, Gwen, this is what I'm trying to figure out now as well. Now, the reason why it's so interesting is because, firstly, those boys are not fighting with one another for the lioness. They're taking turns. To me, that is unusual. I haven't really seen that. I always see big arguments between the 2, and you'll find that one male will be particularly protective over the female and constantly hound her and follow her, and like we see with, for example, the Birmingham boys over the Ngahuma Pride or over the Styx Pride. So I don't know if this is maybe the lioness that had cubs. They were very, very young cubs. From my understanding, they were less than about a month old or something like that, particularly young. and no one really knows if those cubs were killed or not. I thought I saw at least one mammary gland that looked like it had been suckled on a couple of days ago, but maybe my eyes are just seeing something they want to see. Obviously, we can't see it now. She's all curled up in a ball. Because remember, those suckle marks will disappear, will start to fade relatively quickly. So I'm a bit confused. So I don't know if she's just entertaining the fact maybe she has got a young cub somewhere, and she wants to trick these boys into thinking that she's keen on them, and that, you know, she could potentially sire, or they could, she could have their young. It's a tough one, just because we haven't followed this particular pride for a very long time, or these three lions for any time at all, really. Well, I haven't. So, you know, there's many different reasons why she could be tolerating them. I just don't know the exact one. And this is where I wish I could speak to animals, because I'd love to just have a conversation with this lioness and know exactly what's going through her mind and how she's fooling these young boys, because I think that's what she's doing. I think this is all an act. I don't think she's typically keen on these boys. There are massive males in this area. The musketeers are not far from here, and Scar is often seen just on the fringes of this area. If you look up just above him, you can see the hills of Serena. Those hills, it's really not far away, about a kilometer away or so. Well, to the road that goes that way, about a kilometer or so. As a crow flies, maybe about 5 or 6 kilometers away to those hills. So you see, it's easy for those boys to come back here. And this is where I heard those male lions roaring the other day. Now, Tina from New Hampshire, you're wondering, why do I think those boys cuddle like that? To keep warm. And also, lions are particularly social too, so it's important that they groom one another, they greet each other, they cuddle up with one another. It's all strengthening the bond. You'll find that these two males will stay together for life. They've obviously left the pride together. They might not be blood related or direct brothers. They could be cousins from one another, and or maybe they've joined up, maybe they're from two separate prides, and they went on an adventure, not an adventure, they got forced out of their pride and had to go live solitary lives, and then they joined up. Again, it's difficult, but I think once I figure out, we know the area, we know this one male's got a collar. I'm going to see if I can't see any numbers on that collar at some point. We'll maybe have a look, and that will hopefully give us an idea, and we'll try and figure out. If I don't have any information for you in the next half an hour, hopefully tomorrow morning I can shed some light on the situation. Right, I'm going to send you back across to James, who's having lots of fun with the fastest cat in the world.
Fastest cat indeed, fastest mammal, fastest creature on the land, the cheetah. Now, what I'm going to do is ask Chantal to click live on Facebook. We're going to let these things find their prey with us on the with the Facebook broadcast or social media broadcast, because I think we're into a proper hunt now. The light is fading, and what I don't want to happen is for things just to escalate suddenly out of control, and we do want to build a bit of suspense. Change directions now. Ready, Dov? Heads are down. We're now sort of parallel with where those Thompson's gazelles were. Right, welcome to everybody who's just joined us. We are now sitting with two cheetah sisters in the fading light in the Masai Mara. They are on the hunt. They look hungry. They haven't eaten for a few days. Well, possibly 2 days or so, it looks to me. That looks like a 2-day belly. Now, we're going to follow them. We don't know if they've spotted anything. I can't see anything in front of me that they could have spotted as something to eat, unless they're intending on chasing an elephant or two, which there are in front of us. And so what we're going to do is follow them as they hunt. Please don't sit down, because we've just started this broadcast specifically because it started to get dark. The time is now perfect for them, and they are definitely looking to try and eat something. While we wait for them to get up off the ground, and I mean, if they decide to have an extended snooze now, I'll be very surprised. Please talk to us. You can do that in the comment section of whatever broadcast you happen to be watching. I know that there are a few of them, and these cheetah, I cannot actually believe what I'm seeing now. They've been up walking for the last hour thinking about hunting. I know that this isn't a particularly actionful broadcast right now. What we'll do is give them 2 minutes lying there in the lee of that termite mound, and if they get up again, then we'll follow them. 2 sisters, 18 months old, and they have formed a little coalition with each other. And they've formed a little coalition with each other because, of course, they are litter mates, but that will not last long. They will split up eventually. In fact, they'll split up pretty much, I would say, within the next 6 months or so, because that's when they will hit adolescence. And at adolescence, they will become territorial and no longer want to be around each other. Like I say, cannot actually believe what I'm witnessing here. We've been watching them walking, debating whether we should go live to you or not just yet, and then we thought, yeah, okay, it's getting dark now, they must be on the hunt, and now they're going to play. Anyway, they're playing with each other, and that play fighting will eventually escalate into something quite a lot more serious as they split up. But for now, it's very sweet to watch. And I think they're lying behind that termite mound because there's a chilly wind blowing here. And they're just giving each other a little hug. Cece, you say you love the stripes at the end of a cheetah's tail. Yes, they're quite fun, aren't they? And if you watched our broadcasts before, you will know that the 5 cheetah... keep calling them the 5 cheetah brothers. They're not brothers. I mean, 3 of them we think might be related. One of them doesn't seem to have a white tip to his tail, or it's a very, very slight white tip. In theory, they've all got white tips to their tails. Right, here we go. No, not quite. Back down. We'll give them another minute or so. It's possible that they'll just lie down and not hunt, but I really think tonight would be a good hunting opportunity for them. And Claire, you're wondering if these 2...
Well, guys, James is going to carry on with his Facebook Live, so to see if those cheetah decide to maybe get up and start hunting again. And in the meantime, we're still with Tingana. We've had an absolute torrid time trying to keep up with him. He's taken us through hell and back. He went past the dead mongoose, sniffed it, and decided that wasn't for him, and then left it alone, and is now carrying on. And like I say, it really is dense, it's thick. It's been a bit of a torrid time trying to actually keep up with him at the moment, so we're going to try and carry on, although where he's heading now is at least into a fairly more pleasant part. No, now he's decided to stop. You can just see a little tip of the tail as it's going around the bush, so we'll try and follow him through there. There's either 2 paths. He's either going to drop down into the Mulawati, or he's going to go carry on towards Twin Dams. But I think Mulawati is eventually where we're going to end up. Now, there are some people that are taking photographs, so we're just waiting for them to have their photographs and get the chance to see him. And once he moves off, then we'll try and follow him. Now, Megs, I heard you say vets, but I didn't hear the rest of the question because I was just thinking about something else, and my brain is a bit slow this afternoon. Yes, Yvette, leopards are solitary hunters, so you'll find that they will move around. They pretty much are solitary cats, and so Tingana is going to hunt all by himself. He's not going to use anybody else to hunt, so he's going to try and do his very best to hunt all on his own. Now I'm going to try to see if I can't find another way around, because like I say, don't want to ruin these guys' photographs, but at the same time we can't just sit and stare at a bush while they all see a leopard. So we're going to try and just reposition. Now it seems as though every time you guys are with us we can't get a visual of Tingana. Every time you're not with us he lies down and we just watch him ever for so long. Just now he was down for about 10 minutes and we were watching him beautifully in the sort of light, and he was just sitting and he was almost eye level. It was really very beautiful. So Seb, you can see him, eh? Is he mobile again? Okay. You want to stay right here? Do you not think let's go forward while we can, while he's still... Oh, this is such thick bush. There we go. So he's actually sitting, which means that if we can get here, then that is absolutely perfect. How's that, Seb? Oh, my pleasure. So you can see he's just watching what's going on, and he's definitely seen something. What it is, I'm not quite sure. But he's on the hunt. He's a hungry boy at the moment, so whatever it is, I'm sure he's looking to try and take advantage of that sun starting to set now. It's that time of the day where you'll find that leopards will spend a vast majority of their time trying to hunt and trying to go after whatever is in the general vicinity. And this is a great area for things like nyala. You can see, look how he's sniffing. Isn't that beautiful? He's got such an incredible stare on him. It's very, very intimidating, that's for sure. What have you seen? I can't see what he's seen, but I'm sure it's something like a nyala or a bushbuck, given where we are. We're right on the banks of the Mulawati at the moment, and that's perfect. Look how he's moving. Look, he's in full stalk mode. Isn't this cool? He's definitely seen something. Look how he's using the car to sneak around in front. There he goes, just in front of us. And he's creeping down underneath the foliage. And that's that typical leopard crawl that he's got going. I have no idea what he's busy hunting, but whatever it is, he's very keen on it. That's for sure. Look at how he places his paws very, very gently, and the back foot will go exactly where that front foot was, so as that they don't make too much noise. It's called a direct register, and it's the way that they walk is to try and eliminate noise. So you'll see kudu, nyala, bushbuck, they walk in a similar fashion. Now he's sitting down. What has he seen? I can see francolins moving around there. Surely he's not hunting francolins. Seb, I'll try reposition for you now. Give me 2 seconds. I also don't want to spoil his hunt, whatever he is, but I've got a nice clear gap here, so it should be fine without chasing anything away. And the fact that he's sat down possibly means that he's just watching what's going on. So from cheetah hunting to the other spotted cat that's also hunting. Oh, there's an impala right here, Seb. There's impalas right here. So I'm going to turn off here. I don't want to go any further, but the impala's just in front there. So it's just through that little thicket. You can just see its face looking at us. You see the eye there? So that's the impala. Look at that camouflage. Great camera work, Seb. That's beautiful. How cool is that? And Tingana is just to my left. So the impala has no idea that Tingana is here. And he's low and flat to the ground. The impala is a bit kind of worried about what's going on. So we're going to try and sit quietly as possible and hope that we don't attract too much attention. Obviously the impala is looking at us because it can see the vehicle. It's not sure that anything's going on. Tingana, keep your tail down. His tail's flicking up every now and then with excitement. So just keep your tail down and you'll have this. And as it's getting darker, so the favor is going more and more and more into Tingana's sort of side of things. Impala has no idea that this leopard is here. It's sitting just watching and trying to look around. I'm sure, much like the nyala, thinks something is up, but it's just not 100% sure what it is just yet. And if that impala turns its back, that's what Tingana wants, is that he can then get into this deep thicket that's between us and the impala itself, and he can use that to his advantage. Rookie, you say, wow, look at that concentration. Exactly, he is really concentrating, and that impala is actually starting to feed now. Its head is down, it's not concentrating at all, and it's turning its back towards Tingana, which is perfect. That's exactly what we need. We need that to happen, because then Tingana's got a chance to creep in and get a little bit closer. But you can see he's just watching. Angeline, you say this is such an awesome representation of how leopards hunt. Well, we are so fortunate, Angeline, to watch this. This is not something that you witness every day. This impala is moving now. It's moving into the deeper, denser thicket, and that might be a bad move for this impala. I think the impala is a bit... Look, Tingana's up and moving. So he's noticed that the impala is now moving. There we go. You see, he's using the cover of the bush to get behind this impala. I wonder if he's going to get this right. See, we've lost visual of him now because he's gone behind the thickets and I can't see him anymore. But the impala and him are both right behind you, and I don't want to move because I don't want to spoil it for either one of these individuals. We're trying to let them both have as equal opportunity as possible. I can see Tingana's spots and I can see the impala coming out on the right here. So the impala is coming right past our car. Tingana is not far behind him, and the impala has no idea that Tingana is coming. So Tingana will probably appear in the next, I would say, 15 seconds or so. He's going to start coming out, but he's going to have to get a move on if he's to catch up with that impala. Wow, this is exciting, isn't it? It's always amazing when you're in the thickets with these animals and you're trying to see and watch what's going on. It really is special. So even though we can't see anything, there's this atmosphere in the air. It's almost as though you could cut it with a knife as this leopard is following this impala through these thickets. Now he should appear there somewhere. He might have stopped just to work out his next move, because that impala is going to a lot more open section than what it currently is in at the moment. Louise, you're wondering what the success rate is for leopard hunts. Well, Louise, it's a very low success rate, unfortunately. Most leopards will only kill about 30 to 40% of the time that they actually hunt. So there's a lot of times that they fail. We've seen him already run past Nyala, and now he's after these impalas. And the chance now is almost gone. If he had come around the other way, he chose the wrong side. If Tingana had come through the front side in front of our car and sat right by the edge of this thicket, that impala would have ran straight into him. Instead, he went round and tried to follow the impala through, and that's where he's made a mistake, unfortunately. But we'll try and see if we can find him again quickly, because I don't want to lose sight of him before he disappears on us again like he did with the Nyala. I can't see the impala anymore as well. The impala seems to have moved. The impalas are clever. They know at this time of the day that there are predators lurking, and that means that they need to get into more open clearings where they cannot get caught by a lurking predator in the thicket. Now, where is Tingana? The last time I saw him, he was right here. There he is. Oh, Beard, you say you're on the edge of the seat. Well, I think Tingana unfortunately has blown this hunt. I think he went the wrong way, like I say, because I can see the impala is drifting now over a big open clearing, and Tingana is actually lying down. He's no longer stalking. He's just sitting here, so I'm going to try and get us in to where he is. There we go. So the impala has drifted quite far away on my right hand side. You can see Tingana's demeanor has changed completely. He's no longer in that serious stalking mode. He's kind of now just sitting and just taking a bit of a breath and getting his sort of composure before he carries on. Maybe what he's hoping is that that impala turns and starts coming south along the other side of this thicket, and he can then use this little undulating terrain to his advantage and get onto the other side and stalk him. But like I say, he just made an error in that he went around the wrong side of the thicket. Had he used the thicket to his advantage, that impala would have walked into him and he would have had a much more successful kill. Well, much more successful hunt, should we say, because it would have been successful if he had killed. But you can see he's still alert, but he's definitely not in the same demeanor that he was earlier. Earlier he was crouched, he was poised, he was locked onto that impala and really focused, whereas now he's kind of looking around. He's not really as focused on a specific target and a lot more relaxed in his posture. His head is not down. he's still kind of searching to see where this impala has gone to. You can see, look how he's watching. There we go, and off he goes again. Back on the move and back trying to find food. No, don't go that way. Back to being Tingana, as Seb says. Seb, I feel like we're going to go to the Mulawati for some reason. Oof. This is not friendly terrain. So I just want to tell the guys on the other side there that he's now going back into the Mulawati. I don't know how we're actually going to follow him in here, but we're going to try our very, very best. Right, so there's Tingana. He's just taking it easy for 2 seconds, and he's just on the banks of the Mulawati, which is great for us. Hopefully we can get round and down the Mulawati before he gets in there, which would be really nice, and hopefully we can keep up with him now that he's going to start moving again. We know Tingana and how he likes to disappear, so I'm going to try and see if I can't keep up with him. And while I do that, let's go across to James Hendry, who's with his cheetah, and he's going to get us off and running on the school drive.
Right, I think we're live now. Hello everybody and welcome to the schools Plantation Elementary and Loara Elementary from Louisiana and California respectively. You're aged 9 to 11 each. It's wonderful to have you with us. We're sitting here with 2 cheetah sisters in the last bits of light here in East Africa of the Masai Mara. That's where we find ourselves now. And those 2 cheetah sisters we're hoping are going to go hunting very soon. And I'm just going to be quiet for a second because I've just heard a hyena calling. Ooh, can you hear that? Ooh, it says. Isn't that an interesting sound? Now you can ask us any questions you want to during the course of this little school drive with us, and you can just ask your teacher, and she of course will send through any questions you might have through to Skype, and they will come through to my ear. By magic, almost. And we're not alone here. We have, of course, Taylor. She's out here as well. We have Tristan. And my name is James. Look, isn't that pretty? What a gorgeous creature that is. She's 1.5 years old. And her sister's sitting just next to her. Both 1.5 years old. And they're going to try, I think, maybe a little bit later, to catch something called a Thompson's gazelle. Now, whether or not they manage that, I don't know. It's getting quite dark, but they do like to hunt at this time of the day. And the picture that you're seeing on your screens is much brighter than the picture that I'm seeing. And that's because we've got very special cameras to help us with this, with the difficulties of the light. She's looking very intently, and I'm just going to turn my head and look with the binoculars and see if I can't see what it is that she's looking at. And I can't see anything here that she might want to kill for supper. There are some warthogs around, but she won't try and have a go at a warthog. They're a little bit strong. There's a little thing called a Thompson's gazelle that is going to be the thing that they try and catch, I think. They could also, of course, just sleep here for the night and try and hunt in the morning. That's possible. Oh, she's seen something. Oh, she's watching Thompson's gazelles running past, but she's not going to get up, I don't think. Okay, let's head across to Taylor. She's got the biggest cat in Africa.
Well, Good afternoon and welcome to the two schools that are joining us this afternoon from South Africa. So unfortunately we had a few little minor technical difficulties with my friend Taylor, and so you are now in South Africa. Can you believe it? So a special welcome to Plantation Elementary and Loara Elementary, and as you can see we have such an exciting afternoon ahead of us. We have one of the most beautiful animals in the world, and my favorite, the leopard. Now my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Sebastian, and we're going to try and keep up with this male leopard because he's been hunting all afternoon and we've been trying to follow him through thick undulating terrain. So there's been bumps and there's been all kinds of trees and things in our way as we've tried to follow him. So we're going to try and keep up with him. You'll see there are some other vehicles here. Now these other vehicles are full of guests that have come to see the animals in real life. So hopefully we will, between the three of us, be able to keep him with us and be able to keep seeing him. He is walking quite a bit, so hopefully we'll be able to get a decent view of him before he goes into some places that we're going to really struggle to follow him. But look at how beautiful he is. Do you see his spots? So he's very different to the cheetah in that his spots look like they've exploded. You see, he's got what's called rosettes. So those are markings that look like spots that have blown out and have got little gold in between. He's also very short compared to the cheetah and is much stronger. And look, he's spraying, he's marking his territory. So while he's walking like this, he's going to spray his wee. And can you believe his wee smells like popcorn? So if you've ever eaten popcorn, you'll know what popcorn tastes like and smells like. And that's what the wee smells like. His wee smells like popcorn. So he's lucky he doesn't have stinky wee like some of the other cats that we have out here. But isn't he beautiful as he goes through the bush? We're going to try and get around so I can show you his face, because he's got a big mean looking face, because he's our territorial male. Now our territorial male means that he is the male that is in charge of this area. So he's basically the big daddy of the leopards in our section of Djuma. So he looks after this area and he makes sure that he keeps all the other daddies away and protects his cubs and protects all the mommies that are here. So he's a very, very big, powerful leopard, and he's a very interesting leopard because he goes a long way and moves a lot. Now remember, you can ask questions if you send them through to your teacher. We will try and answer as many questions as possible. So if you have any questions about the leopard, or if you want to even say hello or anything like that, you can send the questions to your teacher and we'll try and answer them. But look how beautiful he is. He's really big. See how big his neck is? He's got a massive neck. And we're going to try and keep up with him. He's moving so quickly, it's not easy. And that's because it's this time of the day when he likes to move. He likes to try and hunt at this time of the day. We've seen him trying to chase some of the animals already. So it's really the time of day where leopards are most active. Everybody always thinks that leopards are strictly nocturnal, but actually leopards will spend a lot of their time walking around at sunset and sunrise, and that means that they are called crepuscular. Can you say that? Crepuscular? So crepuscular is a word for an animal active at dawn and dusk, which means sunrise and sunset. So our leopard is busy just walking next to me at the moment. Look how beautiful that is, and he's scent marking as he goes. So he's going to go up towards trees and he'll rub his face, lift his tail and spray more of that popcorn smelling urine. Look at that. So we are so lucky, because leopards are very shy animals. They're not animals we get to see that often because of their sort of demeanor. They like to be hidden and in thickets. They don't really like all the attention that we sometimes give them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right around in front of him, and then we're going to get him walking past us, and it's going to be very, very beautiful, and we'll be able to see his face a little bit better. And I just want to see which way he's going to take, because there's really a nice big pathway here. And this is what you've got to do sometimes with animals, is you've got to predict which way they're going to walk, and then you park close to where they're going to walk, and then you can view them. So I think we're going to be right on the money here, Seb. Right about, let's see, which way is he going to go? Maria, you want to know, what do leopards eat, and do they only hunt? Yes, they do only hunt, and leopards will eat almost anything. So they like to eat insects and small animals, so they'll hunt things like deer, and they'll hunt things like rabbits, and they'll go after even tortoises and like I say, insects as much as even baby elephants and baby giraffes. So they go after lots of very big things. Look at him. Look how beautiful he is. And now I think he was hoping there was going to be some water here. Remy, you asking what are leopards looking for exactly? Well, Remy, what they're looking for is they're looking for food or females. Leopard is an animal that wants to either mate with females, so he's trying to find females, or he's trying to find food, which means he's going to be looking for, like I said, little rabbits, and he'll be looking for small animals like deer and those kind of things that he can then hunt and kill and eat. So that's what he's busy doing at the moment. But while he's looking for animals to hunt, he's also going to mark his territory, so that if any other leopard is in this area, it then knows that, okay, there's a big dominant male, and that I mustn't try my luck, I mustn't try and steal any of his territory from this area. So that's why he does that. Hopefully he's going to lie down. Oh, there we go. That's good news for us. So we're going to try and see if we can't just get a little bit closer to him so that you can see him. Now that he's sitting down, it's really going to be a lot easier for us to see him. Right, so there we go. We're going to have a better view from this side now that he's sitting down. There we go, look at that. Isn't that magnificent? He's a beautiful cat. You can see he's breathing quite heavy because he's hot. It's quite a warm afternoon today. So that's a beautiful visual. Now, my friend Taylor has fixed all of her technical issues, and she's got the other big cat of Africa, and she's super excited to show you.
Hello everybody. I know you tried to join us earlier, but we had some gremlins attacking us. But the voice that you're hearing belongs to me, and my name is Taylor. And behind the scenes, you can't really see him either. His name is Craig, bringing you all this wonderful footage. Now we're sitting with some lions, which is very cool. We've got 2 young boys. You can just see the one now, and then there is also a lioness. But I'm sure something that you notice straight away, she's hiding behind a shrub. There she is. She doesn't seem too impressed right now. She's just resting for the moment. But that boy, you may have noticed before, had something around his neck. Now, it looks like a collar, doesn't it? And it is a collar. But it's a special kind of collar, not a kind of collar that you would put on your dog or your cat. That top little square part is actually a tracking device. So there's GPS in there. So everywhere this lion goes, you'll be able to follow him. So they're doing research on the cats all over Africa. In fact, not just here in the Mara Triangle, because that's where we are. We're in Kenya. And it's important because we can't follow these animals all the time. Well, we're lucky we can, because we can stay out after dark. But the other vehicles have to go back. Even the researchers have to go back. So very special. But that collar will monitor wherever he goes, him and his brother go, and they can see where exactly they are. We can also then be able to tell who they've been seen with. And now we're trying to figure out which lioness this is and also which males these are, but we don't know because there's so many cats here. Now, Demir, you're wondering, how often are we out on safari? Every single day. We go out in the morning, we go out in the afternoon, because we have internet shows at those times. But I have to tell you, sometimes we even go out, actually not sometimes, most of the time while we're here in Kenya, we're going out right through the afternoon until the next morning. So we're very lucky. We get to spend 24 hours with these animals if we really wanted to. It just gets a bit difficult to follow them sometimes because we can't drive off-road everywhere. There's only certain areas where we are able to drive around. But this is one of them for now, but they're on the boundary of a non-off-roading area. So I hope they don't go to the south of us. Otherwise, we'll be in a little bit of trouble. But for now, they're just resting. They could do with some food, but they're not interested in food at the moment because these lions have been mating. But they're sleeping now. They're just relaxing for the moment. But they're young boys. They're not very old at all. They're only between maybe 3.5 and 4 years old. Can I please have that name again? Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you, Chantal. There they're just sitting. Sorry, I can't copy 100%, but it's okay. That's what I thought. I was just double checking. Now, I think I heard correctly. Jesus, you're wondering how fast do lions run? Very quickly. They can reach a speed of anywhere between 70 and 80 kilometers an hour. So it's very, very fast. But what's more impressive is how quickly a lion can run at the beginning. So they can move very, very quickly and travel a short distance in a very quick amount of time. So their charging speed is 22 meters per second. But basically, if this lion were to charge me now, before I could even blink my eyes and open them again, he'd be standing right next to my car. But don't worry, I'm safe. There's nothing to be worried about at all. You don't need to be scared because these animals are used to the car. But they're not tame. They're completely wild. So they're going out and they're hunting for themselves. If they don't try and catch a buffalo or a wildebeest or a zebra or an impala or a Thompson's gazelle, then they're not going to get anything to eat. So they have to go out. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do this evening. There's lots of clouds around. It's getting nice and dark. And hopefully they'll go and chase after something. Now, Linnea, you're wondering how long do lions sleep for? Forever. They never stop sleeping. That's what we see lions doing most. But on an average day, they can sleep for 18 to 20 hours. Can you imagine sleeping for that long? I know that my younger brother would love to be a lion. He'd love to sleep for 18 to 20 hours, and he comes close. He does a very good job at it too. And I also know some people in the team that would love to be able to sleep that long. Actually, Craig, he goes by the name of Batman. He loves to sleep. It's his favorite thing in his whole world. Hey, Craig. We should call you Nap Man. But it's important that they do sleep though, because if they continuously run around trying to chase after things, and they use all their energy, and then they won't have enough energy if they aren't successful in catching an animal, and then they'll go hungry. So after they run around, then they must rest and catch up on their energy. Now, Kathy, you've asked a question that's not the easiest to answer, and that is how long do lions live for? And the reason why I say it's not the easiest question is because it just depends. So the girl lions, the female lions, generally live a little bit longer than the boys. So they can live up to, say, about 15, 16 years old, is as old as what they get. They might even live a little bit less than that. And then the males don't live for as long, nowhere near that. In fact, the oldest a male lion will normally get is about 12 years old. They can live a little bit longer, of course, but even you see a lot of lions dying at around 10 years old. And it's very stressful life for the boys because they're constantly fighting and trying to protect their pride. So the girls live together, and then the boys come and go. They'll depending on how many other lions in the area will also determine how long those males stay within a pride. But if you get youngsters like these two boys here, they wouldn't have a pride just yet. They're still too small. There's some massive males in the area that they need to be careful of. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a little bit of trouble. But we're going to stick with these lions for a little bit longer. Maybe they wake up and do some yawns and we can see their teeth. James has also got some cats, but he's got ones that run even faster than the lions, and they're sleeping in the grass.
So here they are. The cheetah are just behind that little termite mound. They haven't moved one little bit. There we go. See how well hidden they are? In fact, they're 7. You want to know what cheetah eat? Remember, when we first came across to us, I said to you that the thing they like to eat most is Thompson's gazelles. Those are the little gazelles that they catch in this area. And that's what they'll try and catch. But I think that it's now got too late. There may be a moon a bit later, which means they could get up and hunt if the moon comes out and is bright enough. But these cats, unlike the lions you've been looking at, normally hunt in the daytime, or just as it gets light in the morning, or just as it gets dark in the evening. Once it's very dark like it has become now, it is unlikely, I think, that they're going to do too much hunting. But you just never know. see they're looking around all the time. What they don't want to do is... Oh, apparently we've got a very special thing with Tristan in South Africa.
Well, we did. Unfortunately, our leopard jumped out of the tree. It was in a tree, and then he started vocalizing, which means that he was calling and he was making his sawing sound, which is not something we hear all the time. So I was hoping that we were going to get it in time, but unfortunately, he finished a little bit early and jumped out the tree too quickly for us to stay with him. But he's going into an area now that we're really going to struggle to follow him. So we're going to try our very best, but it gets very thick and very dense here. Oof, no, he's going the wrong way as well. Let's try though. Come on, Seb. We're going to be adventurers. Amy, you wondering why their pee smells like popcorn? Amy, the short answer to that is I have no idea why it smells like that. There's a chemical that's in it that will probably be very similar to the scent that you find in popcorn, but why it smells like that is anyone's guess. I have no idea why you would want popcorn smelling pee, but if you're a leopard, apparently that's the way to go, and apparently that's what everybody likes, and so that's why they do it. But there's really, I don't have an actual idea as to why they do it, but I think that's unfortunately it for us. Our leopard has gone up and over. Kimberly, you want to know what my favorite thing is about leopards? Well, Kimberly, my favorite thing about... Oh, listen. So that's him calling. That's him telling everybody, this is my territory, you stay away. So that's not something we hear every day. That's so cool. Well, Kimberly, there's so many things about leopards that I absolutely love. I can't tell you just one thing, but I love the fact that they are animals that survive on their own. They are very, very strong for their size. They're probably one of the strongest cats that we have out here. So they're an incredible animal in that they're able to survive on their own. They have huge amounts of power. They're beautiful, and well, there's just something about them that I really like. Now I'm trying to negotiate this thicket, which means I'm trying to get through here. It's full of holes in the... Oh, what about here, Seb? I think we might have found a way to get out of here. Yes, here we go. It's going to be quite difficult, but we're going to do it. So we have to hold on, everybody. Now let's just get into low range and into our diff lock. Oh, there we go. Now we're in our low range. And now, hold on, we got to get up here. No, Rusty, come on Rusty, you've got to go. So Rusty is the name of the vehicle that we have. Now Rusty doesn't want to try and climb here so well, so I'm going to try with a little bit more momentum and see if I can't get up. There we go, well done Rusty. Okay, now where did our leopard go? That's the next question. So now we've got to try and find our leopard. He was over here and then he went, there he is, lying in the grass. So sure, we managed to find and catch up with him, and he's now lying down, which is good news because it was getting a bit tiring going up that hill. But it's been a good adventure at least to be able to get to where he was. Kevin, you want to know if leopards are friendly towards humans. Well, Kevin, no, not really. If you come across a leopard at night and you're on foot, you have to be quite careful because leopards could be very dangerous to you if you were on foot and you came across them at night. After all, they eat meat, so it's not an animal that you want to try and go after. They also see predators as people as predators, so they've had years of us hunting them, which means they see us as a threat. So most of the time they'll try and move away, but if they feel like they can't go anywhere and they're cornered, then you'll find a situation where they're going to come at you and they're going to try and protect themselves. And a leopard has a 50% chance of either fighting with you or running from you, but generally if they feel like they're in a place and they can't get away, then they will fight with you, and you'll never be able to fight with a leopard. He's far too strong and powerful, this male. He's got big shoulders and is a lot more powerful than what we are. And you see those big teeth? Look at those big canines. Beautiful. Now, hopefully he's going to call for us right next to where we are now. Look at those eyes. See how he's just listening, trying to pick up what's going on. So now at this time of the night, their eyesight becomes much better than what ours is, and they're able to see a lot better than a lot of the other animals. Hudson, you say his face looks a lot like a lion's. Are they related? Well, Hudson, they are part of the same family. So they are part of a family called the Pardus family, which is all the cats that can roar. So tigers, leopards, jaguar, and lions, they are all in that same family together. But they are not in the same exact group as a lion, so they're not a lion themselves. They differentiate a little, they're different in a little bit of their structure and the way that they look and the spots and the way that they behave. That differentiates them, but they are actually still cats, so they're the same as what the lions are, part of the big cat family. So cheetah is in a different family because they are not able to roar. So even though a cheetah is a big cat and it looks very similar to the lions and the leopards, they are a part of a different family because they can't make the same sound that the leopards and the lions and the tigers and the jaguars can make. But look at that. Brandon, you want to know what time it is here in South Africa? Well, it's around sunset, and it's now, because we're going out of our winter into our summer, the sun is setting a little bit on the early side. So the sun is already set, and it is now 6:10 in the evening on this side of the world. So it's us, we're going into our night, whereas I would imagine you are in your daytime now. So you're going to be just starting your day at school, and that's because you're on the other side of the world, and the world turns and the sun stays in one place, and as the world's turning, the sun then obviously can't shine everywhere. It can only shine on one side of the world, and so you get the sun, then we have to be in darkness, and when we get the sun, then it's your night time on that side. So it's 6:10 in the evening at the moment. But you see how our leopard has got his mouth open and he's breathing quite heavily because he's very tired and he's very hot, and so when they breathe like this is a way of them being able to cool down, because the saliva in their mouth as they breathe evaporates, and that causes cooling on the tongue, and then the blood that's cooler in the tongue goes back into the body of this animal. Now, from one spotted beautiful cat to another, and I'm not talking about James, he's not a spotted beauty, but he does have some cheetah.
Still with our cheetah kids, and you know these cheetah are very tired. So tired, and I'm sure many of you have got pets at home, cats and dogs, and you know that they do. They sleep all the time, don't they? Well, they sleep all the time because they only eat meat, and that makes them very tired. They don't eat things like fruits, which give you a bit of energy. They don't eat things like, things probably you shouldn't eat, like sweets and sugars, and that gives you lots of energy and you move around a lot. But the more meat an animal eats, you'll find the more that it likes to sleep. That's why cats and dogs do so much sleeping compared with something like a Thompson's gazelle, or a human being, or a monkey, or an elephant. They all eat vegetables, and that vegetable matter, well, it gives them energy to move around, but also they have to look around a lot for food. Now, Genesis, you're wondering how many how many cubs this cheetah could possibly have. Well, it can be 1, and it can be up to 6, and I believe the record is 8. That was somewhere in a zoo. I'm not sure how often that happens though, but normally it's 2 or 3 cubs that they have, and they will struggle to raise more than 2 or 3 cubs to adulthood. So what that means is that if they have more than 2 or 3 cubs, often some will die, and that's obviously very sad, but it is what tends to happen out here. Look how sleepy she is. See that? Doesn't it make you feel sleepy just watching her? Certainly makes me feel quite sleepy. And you can see, I'm not sure if this has been explained to you or not, but when you first saw them, they were in colour, and now you can see that they're not in colour anymore. In fact, were they in colour? No, we were already in infrared. So the reason we're looking at this picture in black and white and not in colour is because it's now completely dark outside, and I actually can't see anything. All I can see is the same as what you can see, and that's this picture on the screen, and that's delivered to us by a very, very clever camera that's able to shine something called infrared and then see that special light. And that's how we can see these cats, and you don't need to worry too much about that. Safe to know that, of course, it's so dark that I can't see this with my naked eye. Heidi, you want to know how far cheetahs see? Well, that's difficult to answer. I'm going to say, though, for the purposes of this discussion, in the dark like this, not very far, probably better than us, but not very far. And the moon comes out, they'll be able to see quite well. In the daytime, I think that they could probably see a Thompson's gazelle at about 1/4 of a mile, maybe even half a mile. So that's quite far. It's about 800 meters or so. And so I think they could probably see a Thompson's gazelle at that distance. And they don't necessarily see further than a human being, but they will see more detail than a human being, and they will see better in light like this than a human being will. Probably not quite as well as a hyena or as a lion, but they will certainly see very well in the night compared with us. You know how you can't see anything in the darkness. Well, these cheetah can. Now, Philip, you're wondering how strong their bite is, and the answer is not very strong, Philip. What you need to look for on a cat like this is how powerful the neck muscles are, and also, if you've ever seen a cheetah's skull, which I'm sure you haven't, but you might have, there's a ridge of bone. Now, what I want you to do is put your hand on the top of your head, right? And now slide your hand down to around about just in front of your ears, okay? Now I want you to chew up and down. Now, can you feel just above your jaw? You can feel the muscles. Can you feel the muscles when you clench your jaw? You can feel those muscles moving. Now, those muscles on something like a hyena or a lion, they reach all the way over the top of the head, and that allows them to bite really hard. But a cheetah, a little bit like you, doesn't have that. So the muscles reach a little bit of the way up the head, but not all the way around, and so they're much, much less strong than something like a lion or a hyena, which can definitely bite more powerfully than you can, but it's not a very powerful bite. Now, the reason for that is that they have to have a small head in order to run as fast as they can. If they have a big head, a big heavy head with a big heavy neck like a leopard or a lion, much more difficult for them to run fast. Julian, you say, when does the mother leave the cubs? Julian, I don't think that these cheetah have been away from their mother for very long at all. I would say probably just a few months or so. And in fact, I've said they're 18 months old. They could be a little bit older than that. They could be up to, I would say, about, let's say, 2 years old now. And that would normally be around about 18 months that they left their mother and their mother left them, because their mother will then come into estrus, which means she'll come into heat, and she'll be ready to have more cubs. So you'll probably find actually that they're a little bit older than 18 months. Yeah, I'm going to say just over 2 years. You can see the wind blowing. They've very cleverly got themselves behind a little mound of earth, a termite mound, and that will shelter them from what is quite a chilly breeze coming out of the northeastern side. And hopefully it's not going to bring rain. There's been so much rain here of late. Every single night we've had rain. Now, Cassidy, you're wondering about the cheetah's lifespan and how long they can live. Well, potentially, I would suspect in captivities, if they were fed and they were never injured, they'd probably live up to about 16 or 17 years old. I think out here in the wild, where they face threats from hyenas and lions and wild dogs and leopards, I think they'd be very lucky to reach an age of just more than 10 or 11 years old. So life's tough out here for a cheetah, and I think 10 or 11 is probably about as old as they're able to get here. You can see she's very sleepy. Most cats would be waking up now, and these ones are going to sleep. Now, Philip, you're wondering how fast they are. Philip, they can run at about 100 kilometers per hour, which is about 60 miles per hour. They can't keep it up for very long, so they can probably keep it up for about a quarter of a mile or 400 meters. After that, they get very tired very quickly, and that's because in order to run at that speed, they have to use a lot of energy, and their lungs and their muscles will eventually run out of oxygen running at that speed, and they'll have to slow down. But normally that's enough for them to catch their prey. And so they have to be very careful. What's quite interesting is that they won't chase something unless they're fairly sure that they can catch it. So we watched some Thompson's gazelles walk past here, probably about 600 meters from them, so about a third of a mile away, and it was just too far for them to give a run. So they looked up and they decided whether they wanted to chase them or not, and then they thought, no, I don't think we'll chase them. Ilana, you want to know what colour their eyes are. Their eyes are, well, a bit like your cat's eyes, really. They're sort of a greenish colour. They can be yellowish, but normally it's a kind of greenish colour, and I have seen them with an orangish colour too. But normally it's a kind of cattish, yellowy green colour. I was trying to think, actually. I have seen quite a few cheetah with fairly orange eyes. So not like us, they don't have blue and green and brown eyes. Alrighty, now we are not using a spotlight because we're still hoping these chaps might go on the hunt, and what that means, of course, is that we don't want to use light that would allow the prey to see this cheetah, but Tristan is now searching for things in South Africa with a spotlight.
I do indeed, James, because my leopard gave me the slip. It went into very, very, very thick bush and I couldn't follow it any further. So now I've got my spotlight out to search for other nocturnal critters. So we're going to look for any signs of owls and any other animals that can be active at night. Sometimes we'll find things like lions, and well, we saw the leopards moving around, and then there's various other animals that move around at this time of the night. And so we're going to try our very best to find you some of the more shy animals that we get out here. It would be really nice if we could see an owl or something like that. I'd be very happy with that to finish our afternoon. But what a special treat we had to see the leopard and to hear him calling and to see him so nice and close was very, very good indeed. So I'm super happy about that, and I hope you all enjoyed it too. Now when we're using the spotlight like this, what we're looking for is for eyes to shine back at us. Elizabeth, you're wondering how much prey is available at night. I assume that you're asking for our leopard friend. Well, there's lots of prey at night for leopards, because remember, the antelope and the things like deer are not going to really be able to go anywhere. It's not like they have a home where they can go and lock themselves in and stay safe. They have to still stay out at night in these areas. So there is lots of prey for a leopard at night, and most of their hunting will be around this time. They like to hunt after the sun is set and just before the sun rises. So those animals are still in a lot of danger. In fact, more danger during the night than they are during the day. And the leopard's eyesight is so good, it sees like we do in the day. So it can see the prey animals from far, and then it will try and stalk towards those animals and try and then catch them. So there's lots and lots of food out here, and there's also animals that come out at night. So there's going to be things called cane rats, which are very big rats. They're about this size and big, and there'll be white-tailed mongoose, and there'll be all kinds of things that come out at night that the leopard can hunt. Casey, you want to know my first and second favorite animal? My first favorite, Casey, is, maybe you guessed it, is a leopard. I love leopards, Casey. They are the best animals to spend time with. I really enjoy spending a lot of time with them. And my second favorite animal is an elephant. Those are the ones that I like, and it's because the elephants are very, very clever. And then my third and fourth favorite, even though you didn't ask, but I'll tell you because they're very close to the elephant, is hyenas and wild dogs. Those are my other two favorites. So if you don't know what a wild dog is, a wild dog is another name for it is a painted wolf, and they're very, very rare. And my friend James in the Mara, he loves wild dogs, as does another one of our friends that works for us, Brent. He's also wild dog crazy, and it's because the wild dogs, they hunt as a family, and they're very active. They go all over the place and they run around and they chase things, and they're very exciting to watch. So that's why I like them. And then the hyenas, they like the elephants, is that they're very, very clever, and they are run by females. So the leopards and lions and all of these have got big males that look after everybody and try and settle everything and make sure that they got the territories. But the elephants and the hyenas, it's the females that are in charge, and they look after what goes on, and they are very, very close, like a close family, and they'll look after the babies and they look after anybody that might be injured. So they're very clever animals, and I like that about them. Now we are coming up towards a dam. So we're going to go towards a dam called Gowrie Dam. Now Gowrie Dam is a place where we often see lots of different animals coming to drink at night, so maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find something at the dam drinking on our way there. Now you might hear a high-pitched noise in the background. Now that's from a bird that's flying over. It's called a water thickney, and the water thickneys come out a lot at night, and they'll hunt all the little insects that are out and about, and they're often on the sides of the roads. And as I was coming along with my lights, they got disturbed and they then flew away, and they're making lots of noise to tell me that I'm not welcome here, which is not very nice of them, is it? They don't really like being shouted at by the animals, especially when we're not trying to hurt them. But they don't know that. They're just scared of us because we're coming this direction. Amy, you want to know why eyes glow in the dark? Now, hold on, Amy. There's just something here that I've spotted. Just give me 2 seconds. I see somebody flashing a light in our direction, so maybe they've seen something at the dam. So I just want to quickly have a look here. 2 seconds. I don't know why somebody would be flashing us at this time of the night unless they've seen something at the dam, because the dam is close to a lodge. You can see all the lodge lights in front of me. Let's just check quickly. I don't see anything, so I don't know why they're flashing me. There's just some Egyptian geese that are in the distance on the edge of the water. You can, from the lodge, they were flashing us. So Seb was just asking me who was flashing, and I was just telling him. But there are our Egyptian geese. They're in the water over there. So these are birds that are around at night, and they're busy filter feeding and trying to find some food. And there you go. There's our IR ducks. So our ducks have gone into black and white. They like to be in black and white more than in color. Now I'm just kidding. It's just much easier for the camera to see when it's dark like this. Right, Amy, well, my friend James will answer your question, and so let's go back to him and the beautiful cheetahs so he can say goodbye.
I'm going to close with us a 19-second delay. Right, well, there are our cheetahs, still fast asleep, as I said, but what we have done is move around so we can get a much closer look at them now. So David will just quickly zoom in. You can see both sisters there instead of just the one. And look how cozy and comfy they are there just behind their little termite mound. Now Amy, you asked a very good question. You say, why do their eyes glow in the dark? They have a membrane. Now that's a piece of, I'm not going to say skin, but it's like skin, but it's see-through at the back of their eyes, and it's called a tapetum lucidum. Tapetum lucidum. Now you don't need to remember that, but that little piece of skin allows them to see better at night, but it also reflects light. Now if you shine the light into a human being's eyes, you don't get that reflection. But if you shine it into the eyes of a cheetah, yes, and any of them, in fact most of the 90% of the animals out here, then you will absolutely get that. Wasn't that pretty? Now we don't have very long left, so we're just going to enjoy the beautiful look of those cheetah, and I was going to say the sounds of the bush, but of course everything is very silent out here at the moment, but for the wind and one or two other strange sounds which I can't identify. Otherwise everything is very quiet. And you can see, because it's so quiet, the cheetah are going to sleep. We're probably going to sit with these cheetah for all the night long and hope that they go hunting in the dawn. But you have to go back to school now, I'm afraid. So I hope you enjoy your mathematics and your science and your English. And, well, some of you might not enjoy it too much, but just remember, school won't last forever, thankfully. And you too might be able to come out here one day and spend time with these magnificent creatures, and I hope that is the case. Anyway, it's been fun, and I hope that we will talk to you again very soon. And to all the rest of you, thank you for all your questions and comments. We'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.